Hello everyone, welcome to the House of Intention. Today we're going to talk about releasing embedded emotions. I'm sitting here with Janet Homan and she's a regression therapist based in Fish Hoek, South Africa. So Janet, tell me a little bit about embedded emotions. What does that mean?
Hi Marcus, it's lovely to be here. Embedded emotions is basically the emotions that are taken from the outside. They're produced from other people, other situations that you're in, and what actually happens, they come towards you at a frequency. Okay, so this frequency comes towards you, it enters your auric field, which is our energy body, okay, and then it actually then hits the physical body if we don't release them. So that's what it gets deeper and deeper into our physical body if we sort of put them into Pandora's box, don't look at the emotions that we should be releasing, feel them, and then it actually sits in specific organs.
Okay.
And that's how we get dis-ease in certain organs. So embedded, release of embedded, we actually look at the body and we use the body to actually release that emotion that we are unaware of, and we then link it to the subconscious mind because that would then take you back to that specific incident.
Right. Cool. So how does that look in our auric field?
Okay, so if you look like this is from most sort of trauma releases aren't actually looking at the energetic body as per se. Okay, so if we draw the person, and this is my Van Gogh diagram. Okay, so that's basically you, all right? You then have an auric field around you, which is yours, and that is who you actually are. So if this was Marcus, this is just your physical body that you walk around the earth on, and this is actually who you are.
Okay.
This is actually a specific DNA strand, and it actually makes a frequency of what you were born at. Okay. So it's like a fingerprint. Every person's auric field is different from everyone else's.
Okay.
Right. And that's why people say, oh, but that trauma's not so bad. Why is it affecting you so much? Because your frequency is different to that person who didn't get affected as much.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the frequency, and all abuse comes at you at a frequency. So emotional abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, and then obviously physical.
Okay.
All right. Now, as people say, we think that physical is the worst, but actually it's not, because it comes at you and you can see it healing. So if you were bruised, your sight is actually looking at it and seeing it healing. So the more sort of subtle ones, like your emotional, verbal, mental abuse, how do you release those? Because people just say let it go, but you actually can't until you actually then do that emotion that you should have done at the time.
Okay.
All right. So the frequency, if someone says, oh, you are a failure, okay, that frequency of your voice, because we don't actually listen to the words, we listen to the frequency of every single letter in a word.
Okay.
That's how we learn how to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. But your body's feeling the frequency, specifically your aura. So if that person says to you, your teacher, for example, says you're a failure, it comes in at a frequency and it actually splits your auric field.
So it opens?
It opens, okay. And this portion is actually jumps out.
Does it create like a little bump?
It creates a hole in your auric field.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is that if you don't say to the teacher exactly what you're feeling and thinking, like, you're talking shit or whatever else, okay, this basically, which most of us can't, in a trauma situation, this portion is physics. It actually then equal and opposite reaction. If I throw a tennis ball, the amount of energy it will move will be the amount that I threw the frequency of the ball at. Okay. That someone's got to throw exactly the same frequency back in order to get that tennis ball back.
Okay.
So this is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So you would then, if someone was being very, very verbal to you, you would be able to be verbal back at them, the same frequency.
Yeah.
If you're not, okay, or you can't do anything, you have to keep quiet, this piece stays out. That tennis ball, which is your soul piece, will stay exactly where you had the trauma. Okay. So if you were, that's what we call age-related trauma. So most of us will look at what we're feeling at our current age, but that's not what we've got to look at, because we have to go back to that specific incident and place you in that incident basically in order to pick up this frequency, this lost soul part.
Yeah.
Okay. Then once you've released it, whatever you were meant to do, so you've got to do an equal and opposite reaction, and that's where the body work comes in. Okay. So then you would be able to bring that portion. And it's quite amazing once the body realizes what you do, you release the emotion, whether it's anger, frustration, sadness, whatever the emotion is, okay? And you ask the part, because it's part of you.
Yeah.
Okay? So it actually understands, your brain understands, it gets the feedback where the soul piece must actually be placed back in the body. And what actually happens is that hole in your auric field actually gets closed off. Okay? So you can imagine all of these tears, and we say to ourselves, I feel shattered after something. I'm feeling shattered. That means that your energetic system has got so many holes, it's just burst open.
Yeah.
And all these leaks, okay, they will all leak. So you are getting energy from the top of your head, sunlight, cosmic energy, okay? That energy heals the physical body. But if this is like a tube, you've got 150 holes in the tube, you cannot, it doesn't matter how many times you put air, stop at an engine service station, put air, you just have to keep stopping at an engine service station.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you've got to keep filling it up.
Yeah.
So basically what happens at the end of it, okay, your auric field becomes much, much smaller.
Okay. So you start off with like more expanded aura, and then with trauma you kind of shrink.
Yes, because what you're doing literally is you're leaving the earth plane. Okay, because think about it, when you pass, you leave your physical body.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens now is that your auric field starts to shrink. The amount of auric field you have is how much energy actually used to heal the body. But the mind knows, I need to survive. That's the first thing the body ever wants to do, nothing else.
Survival.
Okay. Survival is the number one priority of a body, your body.
Yeah.
So it will say, right, I've only got so much energy in order to keep my heart going, my brain going, circulation. I don't do anything else. So no healing of the body actually gets done. Okay. So that's when you get disease of the body. It's things like your organs start breaking down. You start getting a lot of chronic illnesses, even small illnesses. That's a start of it. Okay.
The deterioration.
Exactly. So if you look here, we're talking from what you were born to what you are now. And this is called depressed.
Okay.
It's a depressed aura. Okay? There's your depression. Okay? So what the medical profession is not taking into consideration, doesn't matter how much you actually look after yourself, okay? In effect, in this instance, once you become depressed, you can see everyone wants to sleep. They can't do anything. They want to just get up and do something. You can't. You don't have enough energy to function in this body.
Wow.
Okay? So the aspect of telling a person they become like them, they have failed even more. They become self-worth, because why can't I get up and do my yoga, do my exercise? Everyone's saying that's what I have to do to get out of my depression.
But they don't have the energy.
They don't have the energy.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got to switch it, close the auric field down, okay, with the holes, allow the body to then gain the energy from the crown chakra and bring it back in and full out again.
And then it will start expanding again.
Exactly. Okay, so you're actually then holding you in that space. You are whole.
Okay.
Right? So that's what we actually do in regression therapy, is we actually go and look for these soul pieces and bring them back into the body, close them off. And the mind has to understand. We always want to know why. Since we were small, we always wanted to know why.
Yeah.
So we want to understand, why did someone do this to us? Why did I feel like this? Why? And that's what then mentally brings that portion of understanding, because at a 5-year-old doesn't have emotional maturity.
Yeah.
She has or he doesn't have any clue what they're meant to be feeling, what they're not meant to be feeling. Okay? So from that perspective, it brings back that little 5-year-old and puts your age relate at this moment that you're healing and understanding to the whole aspect.
Okay, so returning to the inner child.
Exactly. Okay. Right. But your body actually knows what to do. If you think about it, if you hit your toe on a stool or a stair anywhere, what do you normally do?
I'm like, ow.
Most people swear.
I'm very PC.
Okay, so generally what happens is that there's a frequency, that the frequency that you hit the step with, again, you're talking frequency, but we say, oh no, it was painful.
Yeah.
But if you're small, all right, you don't understand the word pain.
No, you don't have association with that word.
It's just this thing you're feeling on your toe.
Yeah.
All right. So basically what happens is the frequency that you hit the actual stoop with actually hits the toe. It then sends in a whole nervous system, I won't get into that, whole central nervous system right to the brain, okay? And it then states I need a reaction. So generally the reaction is to start crying, shout, scream, or swear. Okay? So you're telling the body, I've registered what's happened to me. Okay? Now if you're little, someone needs to tell you, because you don't come into the world saying, I understand pain, anger. You've got to be taught those emotions.
Okay.
All right? So if you come from a family unit that is emotionally unstable or doesn't actually show you those emotions, teach you how you need to know what pain is. The body doesn't know what pain is. The brain has to register. So generally, someone would come to you and say, oh, Shane Marcus, are you sore? And the brain registers, okay, that's pain.
Okay.
So what actually happens then is that your brain then understands that frequency that happened there, that's pain. And that's how the body starts to register emotions in the body.
Okay. And that's from a cellular level.
Yes. Okay. But it's also from a cognitive level, because if you're not explained what emotion is in your body, how do you actually understand it or name it? That's why people say, I don't know what I'm feeling. Okay? Because they've never been taught or allowed to express that emotion, which then teaches you what that emotion actually is.
In yoga, we learn name it to tame it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay? And so you'll find when I do private practice now, people don't know what to call their emotion because they've never been told they can name it something or express it. Like anger is a very difficult one in our society because we've all been told, don't say anything, don't be angry. Anger is, it's not right, but it's an emotion.
Yeah.
Okay? So teach people how to release that anger in a safe position. Then you're not going to get these sort of hot boxes where all of a sudden, the soul quite falls over and everything just comes out all at once. So and then generally the person actually doesn't even know that they're releasing anger. You ask the client in a session, what emotion is that? They have no clue. It's like they're blank.
Wow.
They say, my mind's blank, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So it's very demoralizing for someone when everyone says, well, go and sort yourself out. And people say, I know I need to be fixed, but I don't know how.
Yes.
And that's what the brain is telling you. I don't know what to release. I don't know what this emotion is that's running around. I don't even know what it's doing in my body.
Yeah.
Let alone how do I fix it.
So how can we relearn these emotions?
So basically, what we do is once you feel the emotion, but you have to have someone to support you with that,
Yeah.
because obviously you don't know what it is. Okay, so we become that surrogate mother or father if you are a male regression therapist. So what happens is that we take the role of the person who should have taught you when you were younger. Okay. And we say, where is this emotion in the body? Okay. And generally you'll feel it. When you ask the body where the emotion is, it'll generally tell you where it is.
It will show up.
It'll show up. Okay. Unless again you've really started squashing it down. But when you are healing or trying to heal something, the body will show you where that pain is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we just ignore our emotions and stuff, what effect would that have to our aura? Would we just be this little prune of an aura navigating the world? Or?
Basically, what will happen is that because you go into that depressed state, depressed aura, okay, and you can then, that's where, as I said, a lot of diseases come in. So you're just going to get sicker and sicker and sicker because basically you're actually just leaving your body. All right. So if you think about it, take that step when you pick your toe. So your body knows what to do, but we've been taught not to do it. All right. So when you hit your toe, you grab it generally. Okay. So what are you doing? That piece of soul piece has been shot out. Your body's actually bringing it back in and closing that auric hole off. Okay. But in a situation like a business situation where you feel embarrassed, shy, someone belittles you, you can't sort of grab your body like this or feel. You just have to sit, hold,
take it.
Okay. So that's when afterwards you then need to do something that you don't hold on to that emotion. So that's where we use a lot of sort of props in order to show people and give people tools in order to take away at home. Because life is life. It's not going to be smooth sailing and there aren't always nice people around you. So we give people tools so that all those emotions don't back up and get to this depressed stage again of your auric field.
And then is there any places one can study something like this, or is there workshops available?
I run workshops, okay, and we're actually having a course in March, and it's over the weekends, so it's the 8th, 9th, every weekend from then for a month, and then we do quite aggressive online. We have to do practicals because it's an accredited course, so you have to do at least 100 hours on actual patients. Okay. So, because remember, we can be dealing with highly traumatized people. So if we put people into the workplace that are actually don't know how to react and don't know how to heal traumatized patients or clients, they can actually cause more trauma to that person. Okay. So from that perspective, we make sure that the person who's going into something like regression therapy actually has a lot of background on it, and we train one-on-one sort of 3 months after the lectures have been completed. So there's two of us that do it. Francois van der Linde, and he's a psychologist who's on board. He's actually done my course, right? So he knows how we work and he's using it in his practice now as well.
And then obviously it's also beneficial for someone that does not want to become a regression therapist.
Yes, absolutely. During the course, obviously, you're on your own journey, that will help move and teach you how to move and to become stable emotionally between your masculine and your feminine in the outside world. So it's not just that you can have to go into a practice setting, but there is that possibility as well.
And then doing stuff like this at home, what tools is available for?
So basically, what we do is, remember, as I said, a lot of people don't know what the emotion is until we start moving into that emotion. Okay, so a lot of people feel it come up, all right, and then push it down.
Yeah.
All right, so they're pushing it, they're embedding it into the body to hide it, okay, so they can function. So what we do generally is we say to people, you've got to have that equal and opposite reaction. So whatever came at you, whatever trauma came at you, whatever you sort of underwent, you need to do that same amount of
release.
Force.
Yeah, force.
Okay, all right. So just for people at home, the anger aspect is quite, because most people can sort of cry if they can, okay? So to feel where that emotion is. So if it's, say, in the stomach, where we generally feel most of our emotions first, right? But you'll find that once you start saying to the body, where are you, your leg might go weaker, okay? And you'll see someone sort of do that with their left or right leg. And that's also, so the meridian line is actually being blocked. So they're saying you're feeling it here, but it's actually affecting your whole meridian line, say down your left side of your body, your right side, or whatever. Okay. So the body will tell you very quickly once you start asking it. Okay. It's a very simple organ, but complicated. But we make emotions complicated because we try and look for deeper insights and, make it ask the body, what is that emotion? Okay. Then it'll start to surface, and as soon as you feel it, so as I said before, a lot of people don't know what the emotion is. They can't name it. Okay. So we just ask them, put a pillow or something that you can sort of move with. Okay. So if it was in my sort of solar plexus area, and a lot of people say, it's my chest is closing down. Because again, sort of fight or flight trauma clients, they jump very quickly into that trauma stage. Okay, so all their hormones are rushing, adrenaline. So you're not going to calm them down by saying, and please don't say to any trauma patient, breathe.
No breathe.
They can't.
They get triggered.
Okay. Because once you start breathing, because the automatic body reaction of a fight and flight is to hold your breath. What it's doing is pushing all the energy, into your muscles to react. Whether that's to stay still and freeze, so you go fight, flight, or freeze, or to react. Right? So it's not really worried about, let me have a breath. No, it's not. Alright. So if you put something like a pillow in that area and you actually ask the brain, this is a magnet, it's going to pull that emotion out, right? Then I want to move it out of my auric field. And remember, your auric field can be 6 to 7 meters.
Wow.
Okay. So that's why we can have some fun
here.
Okay? So you ask the emotion to become embedded in the pillow, basically, not in my body. Right? Then if you just feel, okay, I've moved enough, because the body will only release as much as your body can handle at one time. Okay. Then you just say, okay, I'm going to release it. Once you start releasing it, so you activate the subconscious plus your bodily aspects. And what happens is that then an emotion is triggered. Okay, because you're allowing it to be. Okay. And generally, if you do something with the pillow, like throw it, we generally just throw it. The frequency that emotion is lying in your body will mean the frequency you
throw the pillow.
Yeah.
And that's automatic.
That's automatic, because people will go, sure, I didn't know I had so much strength. I didn't know how much I had so much emotion. Okay. It's because you're actually allowing the body to be in a safe space. Alright. Then what actually happens is the body, because you're telling the body, please release it, even if you don't know what it is, all right? If it's sadness, the body will start crying, okay? Then the brain goes, okay, something's happening here. And if you've got a supportive therapist with you, they'll say, what is that emotion? And they will try and probe you to get to that emotion.
And then to name it.
Right. It's sometimes not good for a therapist to say, are you sad now? Because then you're naming it for the client.
They need to say it for themselves.
Unless they're a small child, because that's what you'd be teaching them. Okay. And also, if the person is in when we regress them, if they're in, say, a 5-year-old state, okay, which can be triggered, all right, then you would then say, what would if your friend was crying, how would you know what they're feeling? You see, you predispose what they can't feel, but they can see it in another person, and then it clicks. So it's that teaching bracket again, what we moving into.
Yeah.
Okay.
And any other tools beside hiding a pillow or holding a pillow?
So basically, it's holding a pillow, but it would be more the action.
The action. Okay.
So it's the sadness. I'm moving the sadness, and it's very important to actually understand who you sad or angry towards.
Would you imagine that person when you throw it?
So you can actually just imagine the person on the wall, face, whatever, and it actually then identifies where your subconscious brain is thinking of the trauma, and it actually takes you back there. Okay. It's like if you see an ice cream and your mum and dad used to take you out for pink ice cream or something. As soon as you see pink ice cream, you remember that.
Yeah.
So it's exactly how we use regression therapy to activate you to go back to pick up the soul piece. Okay. All right. Other aspects would be tennis balls. Okay. And this is what you can teach your little kids as well, because you know sometimes you can't throw pillows around. Yeah. And they get embarrassed. So balls, ask them, so who were you angry at school today? Who were you sad with? Put their face on the ball and ask them to kick it. Okay. But ask them again, where you're feeling that emotion in the body. Now I want you to push it through your leg and push it out with the ball. But pretend that ball, the face, is that person.
Wow.
Okay. Same as a tennis ball, you can do exactly the same. Seeing that person's image on the wall and holding the tennis ball towards wherever that emotion is. Saying to the body, I'm releasing it now, and throwing it back at the person.
Yeah.
So we're getting that action that couldn't take place is actually now taking place.
Okay. And then allowing the soul piece to come back.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Janet. That was very, very amazing and informative. Janet's information is going to be in the workbook. I'm not sure what page yet, but thank you so much for being here today and exploring how we can release our cellular memory of emotions. Yeah.
Thanks, Marcus. I really appreciate it.
Janet.
Yeah.